K. Kiran is a member of Indian Unit of Pattern Recognition and Artificial Intelligence and Instrumentation Society of India. He is pursuing PhD in Engineering Sciences from CSIR and has Masters in System and Signal Processing from Osmania University, Hyderabad. He has made several contributions in the field of artificial intelligence and bioinformatics in international journals. With huge respect and admiration, let me now invite Mr. Kinera Kiran to start the session. Over to you, sir.
Can I start, sir?
Yes, sir. You may start.
Thank you very much, ma'am, for this introduction. I'm starting my presentation here. My slides are visible?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir, it's visible.
Thank you for this opportunity. Thank you, IEEE Malabar section. So I've already given my introduction. So I give my slide start. So artificial intelligence. What is making an artificial intelligence model? You are making a machine or a network, a structure, or an algorithm. It has to think equal to the human intelligence or more than human intelligence. That is the perfect AI model. So what AI models do that? Decision making. They generally how we take a decisions. We take decisions from the experience what we went through in our life. So like that only, a machine also can take the decision, the learning, how it will take a learning process and how it will adapt to the parameters. We also, as a human being, will take decisions on what we learn from our childhood and what we adapted to the society, adapted to the environment. That is the only way we have to take the decisions. Similarly, we have to train a machine such that it has to adapt to some parameters and it has to learn its own variables. And what way AI will do that? It's a classification kind of stuff. When we are at 2 or 3 years old, we can't make a difference between colors and sizes and shapes because for our pattern recognition as a human being, we see that that is the age we didn't learn so much. We didn't see so much colors. We didn't see so much patterns. But by age we are growing up, we able to differentiate between what is the shape of the color, that is the decision making we will be learning by self. So the classification has to done that, and understanding the text, image, audio, video. That means if a human being understanding what is text by reading, by learning from childhood, and what is the image by seeing the image, what is that image, and identifying the image, identifying the things, and the similar kind of stuff, audio and video. That is a thing. We have to make a machine for that. The control point. I'm giving what is the AI applications in the real-time domains. I'm giving a briefing out of that. What is advanced control? Previously, if you are from electrical or electronics background, you have a control system background. What is the control system background? Is it temperature or pressure or any physical variable? Generally, you do by PID controller or any other classical controllers. Instead of that controller, if you put an AI, then you can get that if you predict the temperature is going up or pressure is going up in the industries, then you get to know that we have to stop that plant, that reactor system or something that. So when you have an advanced control of AI, then you can easily predict it's not only the safety point of view, that it's also you can predict should be the yield and how much yield you will get it, and how you control the physical parameters of any process systems. That is an advanced control. And the last one, you have seen the applications of robotics. Yes, if you take dynamics, you know the dynamics of the robot, like it's torque and angle equations and mechanical second order differential equations. But when you make a robot to think in a way that how you train that in the AI models, then that is the application where you can using that. So I'll go with the applications of the AI. So in the picture you have seen that there are three images are there. In three images are there. The first one is gene, mosquito gene. Second one is some cancer image. Third one is some rice granules image. So what is a gene? Gene means if you are not from biology background, most of us from engineering background, I just give the some, what is that gene? Gene means a sequence of ATGC. It's a DNA or RNA sequence, gene sequence. It consists of a sequence of ATGC structure. I'll show you the sample before that. Yeah, this is a structure for one gene sequence. I've taken from mosquito. In that, if you see in that Anopheles bennett, in that mosquitoes species, you have a subspecies. So that subspecies sequence, you see that the sequence is different to one. Yeah, here there is a definitely a difference between a one subspecies sequence to another subspecies sequence. So this has to classify using A. Here we have only structure of that. So, but it has to classify that. We'll come to that slide. Yeah. So if you classify with A models, like, because there are a lot of species are there, lot of subspecies are there, a lot of that every subspecies, every mosquito, every subspecies of that, we have every gene structure will be there. That identification, if you do with that A, that I'm going to discuss now in this presentation now. So another one, we have a cancer. If you take that, there is a cancer image is there. So I think it's a breast cancer is there. If you find out that how much area is affected breast cancer and what is the level of that, if you histoplasmic image, if you see that, that's a histoplasmic image. That image we have to see that is in a computer vision person, and you see that how much affected area as a color or the shape or the area of that. If you find out correctly, that will be easy for the diagnosis for a doctor to give what is the actual status of the cancer. That will be the another part. The third one is rice granules. You know that how you get the value, what is quality of rice, by seeing the length and width of the rice. Like if you see the basmati rice or some good quality rice, the length will be more that. So if you pour all the rice granules images on a floor, and if you find out which is the good quality of that using AI models, that will be the you finding out the best out of the rice granule images. So in the first one, I'm going to discuss about how gene classification is done by artificial neural network models. So here I'm talking about the different artificial neural network models. So as I discussed that a different application set, what we're doing that we are doing a input output mapping by seeing the mosquito gene classification. But here, what is mosquito species is consist of ATGC. So here it is not a data. So first, I thought when I was encountered this problem, that I am to see how to challenge take this challenge, that I replace with A with ASCII codes. Means end of the day, any neural network model, I needed data in a numbers, not in image structures or images for basic NN model. So how I solve this one? Before that, I'll go with this. Am I clear? Hello? Hello?
Yes, sir, you are clear.
Yeah, thank you. Just wanted that. So, like I have told you that this is applications. Why gene means it's like a person you are doing on a biology. Biology is a domain. For engineers, it's like we are from +2, we lost it that domain, but it's required a computational person on a domain knowledge person. So if you want to do a guy, you want to do a domain person who have a much knowledge in the domain. So that why you do that, because it's a totally interdisciplinary work. So we do not know actually as an engineer what is a gene, what is diseases of mosquitoes. We do not know, but we see that it is a data. It's a for us only is a data how to model, how to make input output mapping. That is only thing that you what you use a computational tools or neural networks or fuzzy logic or any new optimization algorithms or any new methodology, new activation functions, new machine learning methods. That's very good. Actually, if you want to solve any AI problem, can be discussed within two parameters. That is locks and keys. Locks and keys means you do not know which key will be used for which lock. That's a machine learning or deep learning with that, because that will be depends on the randomness of the data. So you can use any algorithm, you can use because maybe random, you do not know that what is the pattern of the data. So that's why you do not know which key will be used that. So I'll go with the basic neural network structure for that. I'll tell you that why species identification is required, because how natural publication is. That is, I told you that this is a biology data, biology information. How a DNA will take that, how we will take that data. Because if you go for NCBI site, in NCBI is giving all species data that we can. That's an open source data. We can take that data for our thing that. So why we are taking mosquito? Because it's a worst enemy of mankind, because we do not know that the kind of diseases, the kind of mosquitoes, every continent is of every have diseases like malaria, filaria, Japanese anaphylaxis, and dengue. Everything comes from the Anopheles, and you know that these three subspecies are there: Anopheles, Culex, and Aedes. These are things in every continent. We have plenty of mosquitoes, and those are causes for these diseases. So if you find out which is disease and which you have more number of that by taking the gene classification, it is more important to know these classifications for biological mutation or something applications. Our job is to classify using AI models this species of gene data of mosquito. Yeah, that's what I discussed. What Anopheles are there. So how do in which countries it have more number of these mosquito species are there, and which is causes the what do you have the diseases for the malaria or dengue or some in different parts of the world, Australia or Latin America or Brazil or something like that. Okay, we are taking the yeah. So we go actually, if you are already working in AI, people morely working in TensorFlow, like PyTorch, like you're using Python code, and they are taking, you are working in MATLAB. So you're already using the AI models in your maybe code or something that. But I personally suggest that if you know that if you write a code of a model, artificial neural network model, then you know the every in at least in C or Python, then you know the every parameter of that. What is the advantage of that? If you know the total algorithm in your hand, then every parameter, every activation function, every optimization algorithms that you can change, because mostly people who go for training, if you go for making a model of in TensorFlow or PyTorch, those who are using the already developed AI models, generally what they will face, sir, I think mostly my error stopped at 76%. I didn't reach more than that. So I'm training more times of iterations and more number of hidden layers. It's not happening. So before that, if we know that what is the structure behind that and what is the mathematics behind that, then you get to know that how to solve each and every part. Then you know that what is the changing parameter and why you are not achieving the accuracy 100% and why you are not making 100% AI model. That I'll do that. So look, if we go with the AI model, you know that in the basic artificial network, you have three nodes that are three layers: input layer, hidden layer, and output layer. If you increase the hidden layers, that's called deep learning model. That's it. Like here you have these a artificial network model is consist of nodes as well as the connections, and each connection have a sum weight. That's it. So it's taken from inspiration from the brain neurons, that if you give inputs to the to this my model, it has to go to the hidden node with some weightage function, and it has to be done with an activation function. After the activation function, it has to go to the output node, and that weight is going to the another activation function, and it gives the output of that. So how this structure works means, I'll tell you. I told you that. So here, one input layer, one hidden layer, one output layer. Each layer consists of neurons and node. Layer interconnections are by weights. So we can use these activation functions, either maybe sigmoid function, hyperbolic tangent function, or a Gaussian function. That anything can you use that by your, you don't, because you do not know what is the random data at random of images, random of video, you do not know what is the randomness. So how it will be distributed and how it will be the pattern. So that we have an options to select which activation function, and we have a lot of parameters we can select in this ANN model. So what are the things that, like, number of layers, number of nodes in each layer. Like, let's go for this. Yeah, if you have one hidden layer, means it's a basic structure. If you increasing up to 50, 100 hidden layers, means every time you have to take that every parameter from each hidden node to another hidden node to that, every time it consists of, you are increasing the accuracy of the your neural network model. That will be called as a deep learning model. So what is the processor totally? First, what is the data? What is the first? You tell me, if you want to make a AA model, artificial neural network basic structure model, you know the what is input and what is output. You know the which type of network you want to take. So I have taken only the one hidden node at a basic neural network model. In that one, first you have to send your inputs. You have to inputs to this layer. There is IN1, IN2, IN3. These are the inputs, the input layer. We have to feed our inputs to the input layer and calculate the each hidden layer output with activation function, and you have to calculate the each output layer output with an activation function. Then you will get the error of that. That error minimization using any optimization algorithm, you have to reduce by iteration method. You have to go for any optimization algorithm. That error has to reduce such that you had, if the model has to train such that every model have 100%, approximately 100% train accuracy. After that, what you want to do that? After getting 100%, I mean up to 99% of training accuracy, you have to send untrained data, which data which is not you trained in that one. You have to send that. That is a test data, you call it. Then you calculate that, and you will find out how much it is equally classifying into that. So is it rightly going in the right pattern, or your AI model is the perfectly all right at that? The test error will show that your AI model is perfect or not. Am I clear? So we'll go for we'll go for some mathematics behind that. Like, yeah, like you know that first what you have to do, what you know that in this model, we do not know what is the weights. So means we do not know means we have to initialize the weights. We only know inputs as well as outputs. Before making a model, we do not know activation function. We do not know hidden nodes. That's it. So we have to first weights of input to hidden to output weight should be initialized that. Then we choose the activation function. Either you have to go for sigmoid function or hyperbolic tangent function or a Gaussian function. So here I'll tell you that. So if you see the first equation, that is sigma of I21. Yeah, sigma of W into I. It means weights and inputs. We give some bias input such that it won't occur zeros in the model. So you were just calculating. You see that in the first one, we are just calculating. Here we just calculating only the inputs from all the inputs into weight. That is sigma of WIC. So we are calculating here. Yeah, here we're calculating weights of initialized weights and our input that we are calculating. Then in each node, we are calculating activation function. Here I have taken 1 by 1 plus e to the power of minus x function, means it's a sigmoid function. I've taken a sigmoid function of output of that. It means we are calculated every activation function weights of that. Like that, we are calculating for the each node we are calculating. Similarly, from input to hidden, we are calculating to hidden to output. That is, I've given SPK. Sorry, SPK. WJK means, you can say that I to J means input to hidden, J to K means hidden to output. Those weights also initialized, and we have calculated the multiplied with that one, multiplied with the output of this hidden node. Then we make another against activation function. We calculate the output value. So in the first iteration, what you will get, because you do not know the weights. Here the target is that you have to get the actual weights, means then only you will modelize them. So we got an error, that is we got EP. You see that we calculate the initial error of that. That is DPK minus YPK. DPK means what is the actual output of that, and what is the output we have to get. That is error. So here our target is to is that your error has to be minimized using any optimization algorithms. So here I used a gradient steepest descent method. Means you know that how a gradient steepest descent works. If it is EP is called, let us suppose that EP is equal sigma of K is equal to 1 DPK minus YPK whole square. If you make it as a partial differentiation with the weights, dou EP by dou W is equal to 0, you will find out the EP values. That will be the steepest descent method. Here not shown that these equations, but you know that what is the weight equations and what is the updation of weights equation if you use steepest descent of the this equation. So that is it. So delta WG is equal to this. What is the change of weights? The previous weights, delta weight W means change of weights. So for the next iteration, how much delta change of weights required to get the new weights of that? So here we got these two equations. For two equations means input to the hidden as I told, and output to the hidden to the output. These weights should be updated such that dou EP by dou W is equal to 0, means error has to minimize that. So in that one, I put some learning rate as a activation function. Eta is a learning rate, and how much momentum factor I need to put, to how much it has to change, how much rate has to change. That I got these equations. So you now you got the total structure of that. Now you got the total structure of this model. Like we have inputs, we have outputs, we have initial weights, we have activation function, and if you get the first error, and we also have what is the weight updation equations. So first iteration, again the weight will be updated, and again error will be calculated. So this iteration will go until that we can get the desired output. That when it is totally done, that's your training model is done. If once it is training model is done, then you have to send untrained sequence to our neural network model. Then automatically it has to be classified into that what we are trained for that. Then your AI model is perfect. So we'll go for an this is actually basic structure of neural network model. So we'll go for this, how we got Anopheles data. So initially we taken for Anopheles gene sequences. So I've told you that NCBI have a database of all the species sequences that I've taken. So here the problem I got is length, because every subspecies have different length. But for any neural network model, we should have a constant length, because inputs are fixed, outputs are fixed, everything is fixed. That I can't go something of view. So then what I've done, so I repeatedly structure in the circular model. Like I made a constant length such that I told you that it's 200 to 500. If you put a maximum length of that, then if I circulate, the structure will repeatedly, it means I'm making a periodic of a structure. So if you even it is a 200 length of species also, if you make circularly replicating the same structure, I don't think that it is only the periodic way of you're making only periodic of a structure. So that I'm making a constant length of any NCBI sequence of mosquito gene sequence. done. So for a few things, every Anopheles mosquito have subspecies. So I'm identifying Anopheles mosquito different subspecies identification. So I've taken, this is actually an NCBI data looks like, that's only the structure of that. So then the structure length is also not equal. So I made it equal such that it has to be for the model have to be there. There are small sequences are there that I put for, I repeatedly in the circular model such that it is a 500 length for that. So now is my data input length is a constant for this. So first we'll go for multi-input single output node neural network model. So if I've seen that, you can see this in picture that ATGC structure as given. So have approximately I've put a maximum of 500 length. It's a maximum length I've taken as inputs. So every sequence is in my structure to the my neural network model. That is my input. Like that, I have taken different subspecies my training for everything, and we have a single node output. MISON means, yeah, MISON means we have a single output. So we have a bias also to make a zero. Now we not to make a zero for that. So this is structure of multi-input single output model. But here I was told that how ATGC is data. So then I've given into binary form. A is equal to 100, C is equal to 0100, T is equal to 0100, G is equal to 011. So sorry, this one, yeah, here this is right. A is equal to 100. You can see here. So every if it is ATGC sequence, A is equal to 100, C is equal to 0100, T is equal to 0. Why we have taken 0? Because for my neural model, binaries anyway you have to be normalize the equations. But I want to know that if it's have a binary one, you have every position having a value of that. So that even for the structure also. So for every ACC value, we given to this one. So what is output coding? Yeah. So I've given I've taken this subspecies of Anopheles. There are different 18 subspecies I've taken. For in that different one subspecies, I've taken 50 of training sequences. So in that means one Albaritis I've taken 10. I've taken as a 10. I mean to tell you this. Yeah, I'll explain you that. If my output code fall in 50 area, it means it has to fall in the decay of structure. Means every Anopheles decay structure, I made output of 50. Like that for every species, every subsequence of every 50 species of Albaritis, I made output code of 10, such that my network model has to learn that every subspecies is output of 10. Am I clear? And every subspecies of mosquito dart species has to fall in 20, in vice versa, like that. Every subspecies has to go up to 180. That means I've taken 18 Anopheles. These are all Anopheles. If you take that one, then I have trained with this model. So we have taken total 18 species of that. So we have 50 things of there. Then, so as I told you that this is our output coding. Like that, Anopheles, there are different species also there. What in mosquito, Aedes and Culex, 3 types of there. And every species, you have subspecies also. That Aedes also. So I made a model for Anopheles as well as Aedes as well as Culex. The same structure for Anopheles, Aedes, and Culex. Why I have done, I'll tell you later. That why I've done for every Anopheles structure, every subspecies of structure. Now we'll go for, in the previous case, we have taken only single output model. Here we'll take multiple output model. Here, why we will go for multiple model? Generally, if it is single output model, you know that what is the reliability, what is what you call, you're making a pattern recognition out of that. But when you go for the multi output model, you know that what is the comparison. If you comparison that something is fallen in that in other structure also, that you know that what is the relatability of the data, like how much it is relative to another data. that we can get to go know this. So here I've taken the same model, but here my output coding is different. Previously, my output coding is just 0 for every AD species 10 and 20. But here I've taken to the, I think is it clear that? So no, okay, it is, I've given 4 outputs, man. So every time I have taken 0, 0, 0, 0 for the one structure and 0.3001 structure, 0.3. Why? Because I want to make into 0 to 1. I have to stretch this 4 model into 0 to 1. So I made into such a way that 4 output model, and we have to make a point, like you see that is a 0.45 and 0.66 and 0.8, such that it will come into the 1. So that I've classified my outputs into the 0 to 1 in 4 output model. So I'll go for the result for this one. Yeah, we heard the result that, like, what is the actual predicted result? This we like the first model, like single output neural network model, that you see that it's giving approximately 99% accuracy when you train with this subsystem model, that you can see that output data versus your species data. You can see that every species equally falling in the same model. I think there is some disturbance here in alpha-arities and some, this may be error due to this. This is also got error. So most of the things are like, it is showing that 100%, but it's a 98% actually. The 98% accuracy in the testing one. It's 99% in training, and you are getting 98%. The classification is done. So, as I told you that I've done for 3 subspecies, like you have Aedes, Anopheles, Culex. There are 3 species are there. You made model for 3, and we given for every thing. Everything is predicting that the training and performance is too good. As I told you, it's 99 performance, and like it's a prediction performance. Prediction performance is it's a 98%, and I've done it this model for. So it is making for every subspecies model that and Aedes and Anopheles and Culex. So you can see that Aedes prediction models for that, Anopheles model predictions, Culex predictions. So it has done that. Yeah, what I told you, this is how MAO conversion is done. So how here I'll show that here, what are the variables have changed here? What are the variables we have? Hidden nodes are there, hidden layers are there, learning rate is there, momentum factor is there. You can have number of iterations are there, activation functions are there. These are the variables you have when you want to you want to train that. So I've trained with hidden number once, and I have trained with the activation functions. So for me, hidden layer 4 has given the good less error, such that this is the last one. So I thought, which is less error, that I have to choose. Yeah, this is I told you that output of the multi-output network model. This one, like you know that now you have taken for 4 this one. So here you can see that another species also occurred. These values shows that these already fallen, which is not in that pattern also. Means there is some relatable data is also there, which can fall. This you can say that these are the you can say that these 2 things are the actual species. This is directly, we can say that these are the actual one as well as the predicted output. You can easily say, but what are these blacks means? Those are trained sequence are falling in another pattern, that you can say that there is some relatability is there in that randomness of data. It will be there in the result of this one also. So this is up to multi-output neural network models. Now I'll go for the hierarchical neural system. Am I clear? Actually, am I hurry or something? Hello. Hello.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So that's okay. Now we got that. So you made for each ANN model. So I want to concentrate this on this slide. That so here first data sequences, the first mosquito data sequences has to classify Aedes, Anopheles, and Culex. So I've developed for the 2 output model. Means 01 means Aedes data sequence. 10 means Anopheles data sequence. And 11 means Culex. Means once you give this total structure is means if you give a untrained sequence to a model, it has to classify which species is and which subspecies also. So we know that it's a mosquito species and we have Aedes. Is it Aedes or Anopheles? Is it a Culex one? So and if you have a like if it is Aedes, what is the subspecies of Aedes? And if it is Anopheles, what is the subspecies of it has to classify 100%. So this is the basic structure of hierarchical artificial learning system. Yeah, here initially it has to be divided into which is it Aedes. These first 10, because I can't put all the results, so I put only 10. That's that I can clearly show that what is the how it is falling, how can be training and as well as prediction values are showing that. So if you see that the patterns, there is some disturbance in here and some disturbance here. That's the error I'm saying that. So here, but you can easily identify that which is here some little there is some error more compared to these two things. And if you see that the structure like by this method, that if you give that, my model clearly identify which species and which thing. So that you can easily say that what is actual output versus what is the predicted output of that. So we know that before you giving untrained sequence, we know that we have taken from that NCBI data, which is belong to that. When you give it to this model, then it easily identify that it fall in which model. Like if I take all the things and actual output in a single graph, then it can show that if I take in a neural systems in different outputs model, this is a graph for this. As I told you that here I want to see the different model outputs, and you see that because I want to show this picture to you that there is a similarity for every other model also. It's falling. But 100, you can see that Aedes belluxi, these two are actual output versus this model output. If they are equally, because I made into the normalization such that you can easily find out these two are the real one. These are the variables which is not falling in that. So these accurate values of that will show you that these are the come in the pattern. These accurate values shows that different patterns of that. So if you train any neural network model, you know that what is the if you see the comparisons of every output model, we see that is it a pattern is going in the different away from that. So I have taken few examples of that, which equally shows that there is a difference between these two things. These things means if training and prediction accuracy is there, it shows that there's, I'll say that similarity and dissimilarity that I want to show you this one. So what I told you that, like, yeah, here I want to tell you something. You know that you given to a model every gene sequences and every untrained sequences from NCBI, then you are identifying which it will fall in that. So that is a aim of that. But here we'll see that I'll go to the slide where I can show you that. The basic structure I'm saying, and the basic parameters. Yeah, like here, like you know that if when you processing that, as I told you that you know that every parameter, every structure of that. Here I've taken basic structure of neural network model. Like if you go for instead of steepest descent for this model, I got an NDX. If you want to go for another data, another structure, you have to go for another optimization algorithm, such that you know that I went for steepest descent. You can go for a new optimization algorithms are there coming, like you got genetic algorithms or like ant colony optimizations, like different optimization, new optimization algorithm. You can include this model. And if you go for, I've taken only for the mosquitoes classifications. And if it is it's instead of that structure, you have an image, or if you have a video of in a bioinformatics, like if you have a like as I said that my first slide, that yeah, in that one you can see that we have what cancer image is there. How you convert this image to into, generally we'll go for convolutional neural networks for image classification. But if you take that image into your data such that only the feature extractions will happen here. Actually, the machine learning and AI's difference is, machine learning, you previously you had to go for feature extract, you need to go for feature extractions. But in deep learning itself creates your it shows your feature extractions. There is no kind of stuff that you need to first feature extraction happens, that you can deep learning only makes you that. That is the basic difference between machine learning and deep learning. So you have that cancer image is there. If you know that you want to calculate the affected area by color or shape of that, then if I can change my model such that instead of that, what is the extracted features from the image, then I can give input to my structure model. So actually this A model is published in, so they have it. One second, I would switch. So I think Nature India has highlighted this work, like how AI to identify mosquitoes. I think it is in the basic structure when I was developing. They have given for I think 2008. They how AI structured for. I've taken that basic ANN model of that. Then how like as I told you that how SON and MMION. Then have developed to the hierarchical model that as you see in this one. So once you develop a model for that, I'll show the hierarchy. Yeah, this one. Once you know that different models and you making hierarchical of that, then every gene, every structure, you can make classification on that model. Yeah, thank you. And you have questions, please.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir, for this informating and an amazing session. So attendees, if you have any queries related to this topic, you can directly ask sir, or you can write it down on the chat box. It will be read out. Anyone?
Can we see in that chat session? Is it a prediction or classifications? It's a classification, not a prediction one. Rahul Ratan Kumar. The question is that, is it a prediction or classification? It's a classifications. As I told you that if you are predictive means like you are like advanced control systems that you making that is the prediction that you know what is happening. That no, you are not. I'm not predicting that what is happening. I'm just classifying in which pattern. I'm just making a pattern. How gene structure is pattern. Mr. Anmanu, can you explain the encoding for MIMON 0.450? I'll explain. Let me share my screen. that I'm searching. Yeah, here you can see that output data encoding. I'll make a full screen that for each subspecies. If it is single output, you know that is first one is 10, that one. But if you have a 4 outputs, means every output node has to give a one value. That means ANN model have a, for the first one I have given 0, 0, 0. Like that, every value have to give that. Like it's not clear, that's maybe you're not confused that. Like if you see that like 0.45 now, like every subspecies I've given 0.45000, means I'll show that. Yeah, here 0.45. This is a generally the general model. Actually, it's a 4 output model. It's a 0.45000. Another one is 0.4500. For another species, 0.450. Another for another species 0.00 and 0.4. Why I took? Because I have another structure also. That's why I given another value 0.66 value. Yeah. Yeah, for another species I given 0.6. That I have plenty of combinations for the outputs. This is only for my measurements between 0 and 1 to only for the classification purpose, nothing more than that. Yeah, any questions? I think this is for the chat session, I think.
Any questions, participants?
Priyanka, if no questions means you can conclude.
Okay, sir. Okay. So with this, we come to the end of the session. Thank you, sir, for your valuable time and presence. And thank you to all the participants who have joined us. Thank you.
Thank you for the opportunity.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much, sir.